Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 64 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. New details have emerged in the Hookstown convenience store robbery. State police now say that a robber stole approximately $1,500 and a gun that was behind the counter at Johnstown Market on Pine Street in Hookstown. It was stated that just before 10 p.m., an unknown male wearing all black and covering his face entered the store and brandished a knife, demanding the clerk open the register. He was also said to have worn a green backpack. The initial press release by state police stated that the robber had gotten away with $1,000 and was not successful in stealing the firearm. A following press release contradicted those statements. The suspect is also said to have fled the scene, and state police are looking to hear from anyone that may have further information. Pennsylvania police say escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcanti has been captured after 2 weeks on the run. State police announced Cavalcanti's capture on social media Wednesday and planned a news conference announcing details. His condition wasn't immediately released. Heavily armed police had descended on the South Coventry Township area, closing roads and telling residents to lock their doors. The 34-year-old Cavalcanti broke out of the Chester County Jail August 31st while awaiting transfer to a state prison to serve a life sentence for fatally stabbing an ex-girlfriend in 2021. The capture was announced as the search in rural southeastern PA entered its 14th day. Beaver County Radio's Sandy Giordano reports that the Hopewell Area School Board met Tuesday night and the board held a brief work session and accepted the resignation of Georgette O'Connor, a high school paraprofessional, in addition to a resignation of Sheila Lubert, business administrator, and Howard Servone, transportation director. For the junior high school, Richard Garris was hired as an English language arts teacher, and Lori Peterson was hired as a half-time art teacher. Caitlin King was hired as a transportation aide. The board went on to approve additional door jam blocks for the district's buildings to prevent entry into any of the buildings for safety. Funding for the project is to be completed by McMar Designs LLC through a PCCD grant. The board meets in regular session next on Tuesday, September 26th at 7 p.m. in the junior high school boardroom. Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania is now offering new programs to save money and boost efficiency. The online energy audit and KIP program offers residential customers an opportunity to learn about how their home uses energy, and the Energy Efficiency Rebates program offers Columbia Gas residential customers the opportunity to apply for rebates to help offset the cost of higher efficiency Energy Star certified equipment, which helps customers save money and energy when replacing older, less efficient equipment. The Surviving Widow Income Fair Treatment Act, also known as SWIFT, was announced by U.S. Senator Bob Casey, chairman of the U.S. Senate Special Committee on Aging, which would fix outdated restrictions on Social Security benefits for widows and surviving divorced spouses. Currently, despite high rates of poverty, widows and surviving divorced spouses often must overcome hurdles to access Social Security benefits. The SWIFT Act would provide more flexibility around barriers and would ultimately increase Social Security benefits for more than 1 million Americans.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 64 degrees. We'll have some patchy fog tonight late. Otherwise, it'll be partly cloudy going down to a low of 45. Some patchy fog tomorrow morning. Otherwise, it'll be sunny with a high near 67. Sunny on Friday with a high of 71. Partly sunny Saturday reaching a high of 72. And a chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday with mostly cloudy skies and a high near 66 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Welcome to Jargon with Charlie Dirt, right here on Beaver County Radio. Charlie is here to talk to you about everything having to do with your garden. Garden Jargon is being brought to you by Beaver County Radio 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Call in now and ask Charlie your gardening questions. Share if you have any gardening tips that have helped your garden grow. Phone numbers are 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. And now, without further ado, here's Charlie.
Do you feel like that introduction truly encapsulates the wonderfulness of you? Charlie Dirt is here. It's Garden Jargon. Do you know who you are? Does that capture you?
Well,
you seem rural, but you don't seem twangy.
No, I'm not twangy, but the thing is I never heard that until the first time I did this show, and Frank said, "Hey, I got an open for you," and he played it. Yeah, well, okay, but anyway,
but it's I like it, but I was just curious because when it was playing, I'm watching you, and you're just kind of sitting there grinning a little bit.
Well, better to smile than frown. Less wrinkles on the old puss, you know.
Yeah, I like your optimism.
Okay.
I like your optimism. Garden Jargon is a show that we do once a month.
Once a month.
And we talk about your garden. And this is perfect for me because my garden, there are some things that went well this year. I don't have a garden. I've got what is it called? I got, planters.
Yes.
All right. Some went well, some didn't. But we're getting at the end of the season. I want to ask you about why my collard greens didn't grow. But we're going to talk about saving seeds for planting. That's Jim Stafford, right? Sitting there on that sack of seeds.
That sack of seeds, yeah.
We're going to talk about planting garlic and how to get dirt ready for the spring, but you do the work in the fall.
Part of it, yes.
And anything else that comes up with Charlie. This is being live streamed on Facebook, so if you can call with a question, or you can just post your question in the comment section on the Facebook. So you want to explain to me why my collard greens didn't go? Or
I have no idea what you did or didn't do.
Well, clearly I did something wrong.
Well, you planted it from seed or you bought plants?
From, plants.
Okay.
I had to think, because some of my stuff is seed, some is plants.
Okay, so what they just didn't do anything?
They grew, but then it looked like somebody took a pair of scissors and turned all of the collard green leaves into holly leaves. It looked like caterpillars went nuts and were eating the edges, but it was growing in that way.
Okay, well,
turning this into a personal gardening tutorial.
Okay, well that's okay. So I've never grown collard greens. I've grown kale. The thing you're describing could be an insect infestation, which it sounds like.
Wouldn't I have seen them at some point? Well, because I was looking for them during the day, and I'd go out there at night with the flashlight because that's what it looked like to me. It's like there's going to be caterpillars the size of chihuahuas.
Did you actually, Eddie, things like aphids are little tiny things. They're little specks, and you have to look on the underside of the leaves to see them. I'm just guessing because I didn't see the plants. But when the leaves curl up like that, a lot of times it is an infestation because I know you care enough to water them enough so they weren't drying up and curling up.
No, everything else came up great. I'm getting peppers. I'm getting tomatoes. I'm about to get okra if it don't get too cold and snap them off.
Okay, well, no, we'll have a while for that okra to grow. But I would say if you try it again, we talked about it. We talked about it at length before. There's the insecticidal soap, okay, that you can get that it's not toxic, and you spray it on the leaves, and it actually kills the bugs on contact. But within 24 hours, it's a soap. You can wash it off, and you can eat it. Or neem oil, things like that, and that is especially helpful if there's bugs you don't see.
What's a neem that we're squeezing oil out of it?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure you could look it up online.
Okay.
It's a lot of people use it that don't want to. I don't use pesticides or herbicides, and it's if it happens again, spritz the leaf. The insecticidal soap is really easy. It comes in a spritzer bottle, like a 409 bottle.
Okay.
You just buy the bottle and just put it on the mist setting and mist it on the leaves.
It sounds like a really anal retentive punk band. Insecticidal soap.
Insecticidal soap. That's a good idea. If you run that name past Curtis for his band, maybe they want to change it.
They'll do a one-off like you two did from time to time. I want to talk about seeds.
Okay, seeds.
Because you sent me pictures of seeds, and the first thing I thought is, well, the government, I'm sure, is taking account of that, but they're not that kind of seed.
No. there's a natural progression that I've seen with gardening. And like I say, I've always tried to gear this show toward the beginning gardener, the person that's a little curious, don't know whether they'll like it or not. So the natural progression is, and I was it suggests people start small, okay? So if you're starting small, you buy a couple of plants. You buy some pepper plants, some tomato plants, some, color green plants, whatever, and you plant them. And if you like the results and you enjoy the work, the next logical step is, I want to save some money and start plants from seed. Okay?
I did that. Now, see, you motivated me. Last year, it was the little baby cup of plants. Mm-hmm. That's really not saving you very much money if they're $5 each, or you're going to get $5 of tomatoes. This year, you motivated me. About half the stuff I planted was seeds, and it takes longer and you fret over it more, but when it comes up, you feel like you accomplished more.
Yes, it's like the difference between a paint-by-numbers painting or sitting down with a pencil and doing a sketch of something.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your level of comfort, if you don't have a space to start seeds. I mean, I have a portable greenhouse that I can put 12 trays of plants in, and I break it down when I'm done with the plants and put it in my shed. Doesn't take up a lot of room. Most people don't want, and you got to start them like around the first week of March, things like peppers and tomatoes and that, inside on a windowsill, and then move them outside. If you just have a few plants, you might not want to do that way, and certainly most people are not going to go for the greenhouse thing. A few will in a few years, but you buy the plants, then you start them from seed, and then you've run into this variety of pepper or tomato or something, and you say, boy, I'd like to save these particular seeds.
I like these. They have taste. I did that with tomatoes last year.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, and we've talked about this real briefly before. The basic thing is you do not want to save seeds from a hybrid. A hybrid is two or more parent plants that have been blended together, cross-pollinated to get the desired plant.
What happens if you do that? Do the plants grow up and just take over Milwaukee?
And they eat small children, No.
Chiller Theater's back. The tomatoes that ate Pittsburgh's got to be in the rotation.
Exactly.
All
well,
right.
What happens is you will get one or the other parent. You won't get that hybrid. So if it was a tomato that was bred for disease resistance and taste, two different tomatoes, you'll either get the tomato that was disease resistant or the one that had the good taste, or maybe something else altogether.
Or the third mutant tomato.
The third mutant, yes. So if you purchase seeds, you can see if they're an heirloom. That definitely means they're not a hybrid. If they're a standard variety, open pollinating, they're usually not a hybrid. And most all hybrids, they're very convenient. They'll say hybrid, big boy tomato, hybrid, okay, whatever. California Wonder Pepper, hybrid. You cannot save the seeds from that and get the desired results. Rule number 2, I'm going to use peppers as an example. A green pepper is like a green tomato. It is not ripe. If you want to save seeds from a pepper, you must let it some peppers get red, peppers get yellow, some people get orange. I grow all 3 different colors of peppers. When the pepper has completely changed color, then it is ripe, then the seeds are matured, then you can save it.
Is it worth giving up one pepper and letting it just basically go to spoil so you know it is mature and ripe, and that's the one that you use to get the seeds from?
I would say it depends on your value system. If you've only got a plant with 3 peppers on it,
you're giving away a third of it. I got you.
Yeah, but if you got rows of pepper plants, then you can do that.
Okay.
So the rule number 1, you don't want to save the seeds from a hybrid. If it's a pepper, you want it to be completely ripe. I'm just going to touch on peppers and tomatoes here because of the time thing.
That's what most people, when they first start out, like me.
Exactly.
This year, one of the 2 new things didn't work out, but I started with peppers and tomatoes.
Right. And I said before, if you've got 2 plants, probably they're both tomatoes. It's just that's what people like. All right. So if you got the pictures flipping around there.
We're going to start. Okay, this is why people, if you can, you need to pay attention to this on Facebook because we have visual aids.
All right, what's there?
Is that the good one?
Yes, that's a good one. And
let me call play-by-play of it.
Okay, all right.
All right. It's a blue bowl. Ooh, it looks like a bowl from Where's the place in West Virginia?
It's not a bowl. That is a sieve. You see that little wing on the top that's setting in a cup.
Oh, I got you. You're draining something.
Yes, that's the seeds out of the tomato. So you've got your desired tomato, your non-hybrid tomato.
You've got a whisk, not a whisk, a strainer full of seeds.
Now, I use, these are flat bottom strainers. The mesh in them is nylon, and you used to be able to get them at the dollar store. The reason why I prefer them, they're flat bottom. So you see what the first picture there, I've scooped the seeds out of the tomato and into, all right, perfect, Eddie, perfect. The one, if you're watching, the one on the right is
they only see the one on the right.
Okay, the one on the right, okay, that's the seeds fresh out of the tomato. Now, they have, can't preserve them that way. What you do is you rinse them through this strainer and kind of take your thumb or your finger and smish them. Keep rinsing them till they're completely clean, okay? And
now, because it's a strainer, is it possible for you to over mash them and mash them through, or is that why it's a narrow? It's almost a seine.
Right, exactly. You got to be careful. Now, you can use the metal, like your mother probably called it, like a tea strainer, the round. Okay, you can use them, and they can take a little more abuse. It's just harder to get the seeds back out of them when they're dry. The flat bottom ones, they dry better. Okay, so after you get them rinsed and they're nice and clean.
Is that what we get to now, the yellowish version?
Yes, that's
okay.
All right, now you're going to take that after they're dry, and you do it several times. Rinse it several times. Okay.
I've been told that by so many gym teachers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, tape an aspirin to it.
Tape an aspirin to it.
Take a lap.
Rinse it off. You'll be fine.
Right, yeah. Well, you got to get them clean. You got to get them dry, okay? And then leave them set in that. Now, I have a very old stove in my house. It has pilot lights. So the top of the stove is warm. So after I get them washed, I set them on my warm stove top there and let them. They don't get hot. They just get warm and they dry out. If you don't have pilot lights, which 99% of the people don't, set that strainer on a sunny windowsill where it'll get some direct sun, and they'll dry up in a couple of days.
Okay.
All right. Now that's step number 2. Step number 3.
And I'm switching the picture at this point. If you're watching this on Facebook, you're getting schooled up. It started with the wet seeds. You now see the drying seeds.
Now, that is not tomato seeds, but that is the third step that I do. The third one, what you want to do is after they're dry, take them out of there and spread them on I use styrofoam meat containers. Okay.
It looks like the underside of a bread of an egg carrier. But it's okay.
As a matter of fact, that particular tray was from chicken. You wash it real good, then you spread the seeds out on there and let them finish drying. And if they're good and dry, and I'm overcautious with it, I'll leave them dry for a couple of weeks.
Is it possible for them to get too dry?
Not at this point, not unless you get them too hot, because cold will not damage a seed, but heat will.
Okay.
That's why I say just a warm area to dry them out. Now, the seeds, the next seed I want to talk about saving is from peppers. It's a little different, and it's a little easier. When you cut your pepper, all right, you have your nice red pepper, your orange pepper, your yellow pepper that is not a hybrid. You cut the pepper and you pull the whole web out, the seeds and the web and everything.
The stringy stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not really stringy in a pepper. It's just kind of a web. And this is what I do. I just put that whole thing on one of them styrofoam meat containers. You don't have to wash the pepper seeds. Matter of fact, I wouldn't recommend it. Just let them dry on the web, and then you can kind of flake them off of the web after they're good and dry. And I save pill bottles. I use pill bottles. And even when I put them in the pill bottle for storage over the winter, I don't put the lid tight right away. I leave the lid loose, even for another week or two, just to make sure any excess moisture in there is gone, because the slightest bit of moisture, when you go to get your seeds in the spring, they're going to be moldy.
And that ain't no good.
That ain't no good, and it probably ain't going to grow. Listen to us.
Well, we're talking rural stuff. You can use that.
Yeah, we ain't going to do that. Okay, but so the rules are non-hybrids. If it's something like a pepper, it must be ripe. Okay, if it's tomato seeds, if you got a better way to wash the seeds than a strainer like that, that's just something I developed over the years to do. You got to get that slimy stuff off, and you got to get them dry, and then you can store them. So the bottom line, I guess you want to say, is if it's something you want to grow next year, don't take a wrinkly old nasty looking pepper. Get a beautiful specimen of what you want to save the seeds for.
And get the seeds while it's still beautiful and ripe and robust.
Yes. And it's not a hard thing to do. It's one more step that if you're getting into this and you say, I want to have this. Now, I'll tell you a perfect tomato to save the seeds for, really easy. It's called a San Marzano. That's a tomato. You can see them in cans in the store, or you can see them in the fruit market or the farmer's market. They are similar to a Roma. They are bigger than Romas and more flavorful. They are not a hybrid. They're an old breed of tomato. There's only a few seeds in each one. That's what makes them a good sauce tomato. And a lot of people, if you're only going to save seeds out of one type of tomato, the San Marzano is a good one. If it's a non-hybrid round tomato and it's one you like, wait till it's good and ripe and do what we said there. And you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. People were just going to scrape the seeds out and put them down in the garbage or something anyways. And if you save the seeds and you get one or two plants the next year, you got that feeling of accomplishment. You've done something.
And you've saved money.
Yes.
All right. Charlie Dirt is my guest. It's Garden Jargon. If you've got gardening questions, and I got plenty if you don't, so we're good. But you can call 724-843-1888. You can call 724-774-1888. Watch it on Facebook. We have visual aids. News is next.
It's always the right time to shop the Hopewell Shopping Center, no matter what the season, no matter what the reason. It's truly your neighborhood shopping place with such a large variety of businesses that offer food, shopping, fine dining and quick serving restaurants, personal services, and recreation. The Hopewell Shopping Center will be your one stop for everything you need whenever you need it. Just click on beavercountyradio.com, the Hopewell Shopping Center merchant directory, for a complete look of merchants today, and get shopping at your neighborhood shopping place, the Hopewell Shopping Center.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
Tune into the Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. You can tune in by turning your radio dial to Beaver County Radio or by clicking the audio streaming apps on your phone or computer. You can also watch the video stream of the show on Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel. The Coach's Corner is being brought to you by Keystone Wellness Program, Patriot Home Care, the Grand Valley Inn, the Community College of Beaver County, the Beaver County Career and Technical Center, Falcones Moon Township Ford, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, St. Barnabas Dental and Dr. Peter J. Montini, Goldberg, Persky and White, Friendly Federal Credit Union, the J&J Spratt Funeral Home, Geneva College, Carver Construction, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca, Beaver County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Nissan, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, and Beaver County Radio.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. You can order your groceries right from your home. Click grocerystorenewbrighton.com and fill your shopping cart up. It's just that easy. Or stop in to shop for your favorite items. They specialize in fresh meats, hoagies, bakery items, and of course the deli. Pick up a delicious hot meal to go like fried chicken dinners, and don't forget fried fish every Friday. Don't cook, make it a Foodland day. Visit Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, your one stop to shop for all needs, or click grocerystorenewbrighton.com.
Beaver County Radio and the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company are teaming up to present Cruisin' on the Ridge, a series of car cruises during our 75th summer celebration that will be held the third Saturday of every month from 12 to 5 p.m. at the new Beaver County Radio Studios. The fourth cruise, featuring the music of the Hoot Owls, will be on September 16th at the new studio location of 4301 Dutch Ridge Road in Brighton Township. Beaver County Radio's Solid Gold Saturday host J.D. Merkel will also be spinning tunes in the parking lot. There will be food trucks, prize giveaways, raffles, and a 50-50. Cruisin' the Ridge is being brought to you by Patriot Home Care, Falcones Moon Township Ford, Circle of Friends, Ambridge Italian Villa, Friendly Federal Credit Union, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, Town Square Restaurant, The Standard Restaurant, T.L. Ferguson Building and Landscaping Supply, Beaver Valley Auto Mall, LaBelle Bridal, Junction Auto, Fisher's Foodland, Al's Corner and Koppel, Wags on 3rd, J. Young Refuse, Dylan McCandless King Coulter and Graham LLC, the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company, and Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 64 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. State police say a robber stole approximately $1,500 and a gun that was behind the counter after initially reporting a different story. This happened at Johnstown Market on Pine Street in Hookstown just before 10 p.m. Monday when an unknown male wearing all black and covering his face entered the store and brandished a knife, demanding that the clerk open the register and give him money. He was also said to have worn a green backpack. The initial press release by state police stated that the robber had gotten away with $1,000 and was not successful in stealing the firearm. A following press release contradicted those statements. The suspect is said to have fled the scene, and state police are looking to hear from anyone that may have further information. Pennsylvania police say escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcanti has been captured after 2 weeks on the run. State police announced Cavalcanti's capture on social media Wednesday and planned a news conference announcing details. His condition wasn't immediately released. Heavily armed police had descended on the South Coventry Township area, closing roads and telling residents to lock their doors. The 34-year-old Cavalcanti broke out of the Chester County Jail August 31st while awaiting transfer to a state prison to serve a life sentence for fatally stabbing an ex-girlfriend in 2021. The capture was announced as the search in rural southeastern PA entered its 14th day. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that a brief ceremony was held at the Aliquippa War Memorial. A Gulf War plaque honored the veterans of the war and all those who participated in any part of war on terrorism, according to Cindy Gormley. A new plaque designating the city as a Purple Heart City was also presented, and the city is proud of the designation. New street banners are on sale for veterans and their families to purchase. The cost of banners is $97. They will start going up in the spring of 2024 on Franklin Avenue and Broadhead Road to start. Fundraising is being conducted to further fund the project. U.S. Senator Bob Casey, chairman of the U.S. Senate Special Committee on Aging, introduced the Surviving Widow Income Fair Treatment Act, also known as SWIFT, which would fix outdated and arbitrary restrictions on Social Security benefits for widows and surviving divorced spouses. Currently, despite high rates of poverty, widowers and surviving divorced spouses must overcome hurdles to access Social Security benefits and are prevented from maximizing their benefits. The SWIFT Act would fix this problem by eliminating and providing more flexibility around these barriers, which often harm women. The bill would ultimately increase Social Security benefits for more than 1 million Americans. Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania customers looking for solutions to improve their home's energy efficiency and to reduce their overall energy costs can take advantage of 2 new energy-saving programs offered by the company. The online Energy Audit and Kit program offers residential customers an opportunity to learn more about how their home uses energy. Customers receive personalized recommendations for saving money and reducing their energy usage. The Energy Efficiency Rebates program offers Columbia Gas residential customers the opportunity to apply for rebates to help offset the cost of higher efficiency Energy Star certified equipment.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 64 degrees. We'll have some patchy fog tonight late, otherwise it'll be partly cloudy going down to a low of 45. Some patchy fog tomorrow morning, otherwise it'll be sunny with a high near 67. Sunny on Friday with a high of 71. Partly sunny Saturday reaching a high of 72. And a chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday with mostly cloudy skies and a high near 66 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Garden Jargon with Charlie Dirt right here on Beaver County Radio. It's being brought to you at Beaver County Radio 95.7, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA, and beavercountyradio.com. The phone lines are now open, 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888.
It is Garden Jargon. Once a month, Charlie comes in, Charlie Dirt, and he answers gardening questions. First half hour, we talked about seeds. And here's, what you said is exactly right, Charlie. It does give you a sense of accomplishment when you get something to grow from seed rather than buying the little plantling.
Yes.
Right? But I'm cheap. The other thing I think is if I got seeds from this year and they grow next year, every time a plant comes up, that saves me, $5, $6 each time.
Right, and buying pre-grown plants has become insanely expensive. And I said this before, I don't rap on the people that run the greenhouses because their costs have gone through the roof, and you got to make a living.
Yeah,
and you can't sell them for what it costs you to grow them. So you've got the sense of accomplishment. You save some money. And you know what? It's a little bit almost like an experiment. Let's see if this works. And if you're saving seeds from something you already grew, you didn't spend any money. Other than if you're going to go buy the sieve and you get 3 of them for $1 at the dollar store.
Well, you're still underneath the cost of one seedling.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Charlie, I want to get to the next topic because it's something that I've never grown, but I eat a ton of. It's garlic. But first, let's see what's up on the phone. Hi, you're on Garden Jargon. What's your name? Hello.
Good morning. It's Ella.
Ella, hi.
Hi, Ella.
Do you have a question?
Good morning.
You got a gardening question?
Yes, I have a question about the plant, the canna. It's a beautiful plant.
What's it called?
Say it again.
Canna, C-A-N-N-A, and it's big leaves.
Does it have a flower on it or just leaves, Ella?
Yeah, it has a flower. It's like an orangish red.
I think my grandmother had them. They call them canis lilies. And all I know about them is they're beautiful. I've never grown them. Do you grow them?
Well, no. I mean, where I live, the resident received them from someone, and he planted them in the garden. But he says you have to take them out.
Oh, you have to bring them in to winter over.
Right, and I was calling to see if you knew, when do you take them in?
Can I guess?
How do you take them in?
Ella, I'm going to throw a completely uneducated guess at you because that's pretty much all I got. I'm going to say before the first frost.
Yeah, that makes sense. If it's getting dormant, if the leaves are starting to recede and the bloom isn't as brilliant anymore.
That's my problem. I'm getting dormant.
Yeah, getting dormant. I've been dormant now for about 40 years. Go ahead, Ella.
Okay, well, where would you store them?
I would, if it were me, if it's a bulb, I'm guessing it's a bulb, I would dig them, and I would spread them out somewhere in the sun to dry, and then I would put them in a cool, dry place. If it's an apartment, maybe a storeroom that you have. If it's a house, maybe in the basement, because it's going to be in a dormant state. And any bulb that you want to store like that I had to deal with, that's what you would do. But those canis, they're beautiful. But I'm sorry, all I know is I enjoy them. I don't know anything about storing them. But possibly.
Well, what about the tulips? Now the tulips, you're supposed to take the bulbs out. No, you're supposed to plant the bulbs in October.
Yes. You plant the bulbs in October. You do not necessarily have to dig those tulips up. Okay, what I do, I got a lot of tulips. I love tulips. And what I do is when they bloom, don't cut the bloom back. Don't cut the plant till the leaves are completely dead. Then I cut them down close to the ground, and I mulch them for the winter. I mulch them with shredded paper or grass clippings or something. You don't have to dig them up. Now, there is a school of thought where you dig the tulip bulbs up if they're not doing well. If they've been, I mean, my tulips have been in the ground for years and years and years, and they're like crocuses and grape hyacinths. You can pretty much feed them in the fall, mulch them, and they'll be good. If they're not looking too spry next year, that bulbs might need rested. And if you want to dig the tulip bulbs up, if they're not doing well. And the same thing, dry them out and put them in like an onion bag, a net bag or something, or spread them out in a cardboard box and put them in a cool, dry place, and then plant them again the following October if you want to rest them for a year. But you don't need to. If the tulip, I'm kind of like Ella, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If the tulips are blooming nice,
right.
if the crocuses are blooming nice, if the grape hyacinths are blooming nice, don't mess with them. Just feed them, mulch them, and leave them go. But if anybody knows anything about those calla lilies, call us up and let us know what they do with them.
I love that.
Okay, wonderful. I'm just one last thing.
Sure.
If they're brand new tulip bulbs and you're putting them in the ground, did you ever hear of putting mothballs in them?
I've heard of that. People, not in them, people will spread mothballs around on the top of the ground to try to keep the squirrels and the chipmunks and whatnot from digging them up. Now, there's a chemical that I know about it. I've never used it. I believe the name is Ropel. You use the Ropel when you plant your tulip bulbs according to directions. Just always follow the label directions, okay? And it's a very offensive smell. And the squirrels don't like it. The chipmunks don't like it.
You looked at me when you said that.
No, I looked at somebody walking down a hall.
I got you.
Okay. But anyway, see, Eddie pokes me all the time. That's why we get along. The Ropel, for goodness sake, wear gloves, even double gloves, because I've been told if you get that smell on your hands, nobody's going to sit next to you in church for a couple of weeks. It's really a strong smell. So, and that's what they use.
Your time.
They don't. Hey, Ella,
Yes.
How's the guitar? Are you playing it at all?
No, not yet. It's coming. I want to start teaching little children how to read. So if I'm going to teach them how to read, then I got to teach myself something.
There you go.
So I think we're on a nice path. Okay, guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Ella. I love when Ella calls.
I do too.
Because she is just the coolest person. And what she just said, if I'm helping other people, why don't I help myself at the same time?
Right. And
pretty brilliant.
You're stimulating the whole, brain thing. If you're learning, it's easy to teach somebody else something. Sure.
All right. Well, learn me up on something, because she mentioned bulbs. Are garlic plants bulbs? They're little baby bulbs, aren't they?
Yes, they're bulbs. They're bulbets. Well, what they are is that head of garlic that you break apart and then peel the cloves. The cloves is what you plant. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's many, 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 many kinds of garlic. You have the huge garlic, people call it elephant garlic, and the head of garlic is as big as your fist almost.
Yeah, okay.
That's a very mild, you plant them all, treat them all the same. It's a very mild garlic. Is it
fair to say that the larger the bulb of garlic is, the less pungent?
Less pungent,
okay.
Exactly. And that's why people like to put that in salads and stuff like that. Then your smaller heads, and what I grow almost exclusively is a purplish garlic, okay? And some people call it a hot garlic. It's a lot spicier garlic. The heads are smaller, but it's much better for cooking and things like that. And the main thing, pick the garlic that you want to grow, and do not go to the grocery store and buy a package of garlic and say, I am going to plant this. And we've talked about this before. Garlic and potatoes and certain other things, and I'm not grousing at the farmers or the processors. They treat it with a chemical to keep it from sprouting. It's a I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's not a poison.
It is a retardant.
Exactly. Good word, Eddie. Good word. Okay. It's a retardant, and it keeps the garlic from sprouting. It'll keep potatoes from sprouting. So if you're inclined to want to grow some garlic, Go down with their farmers markets are still up and running.
Yes, they are.
And a lot of people are planting garlic coming up on this time of year, so the farmers may take a little extra garlic to the farmers market. So, excuse me, select the type of garlic you want. And you know what? If you're buying it from that good old boy, he'll tell you something about growing it. If you're saying, hey, I want to grow this, those people will share the knowledge. All right. You take the head of garlic and separate it out, break the cloves apart, however many you want. There's 6 or 8 in each head. Right now, I'm getting ready to plant mine. I'll probably put between 200 and 300 in the ground. I plant a lot of garlic, and I plant the hotter red skin kind of garlic.
How much space are you taking up planting 200 or 300?
That's the beauty of it. You only got to put them about 3 inches apart at the most, and you only got to put the rows about 4 inches apart because you want enough space. An average size head of garlic when you buy it in the store. You put the clove in the ground and allow that much room for it to spread out, and then put the next clove in.
Just like potatoes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's similar to planting potatoes. Now, the traditionalists will say plant it in October, and I've brought this up before. October is fine if Mother Nature helps you out. If you get a rainy, sloppy, nasty early October, your ground is not going to be workable. You're not going to be able to plant it. I'm going to be planting my garlic right at the end of September because I know it's the ground is workable. It's decent weather to be out there working it. Till the ground, cut your furrows, put your cloves in, cover it. And I till in where I'm going to plant the garlic. I till in some 5, 10, and 10 fertilizer, mix it up in the dirt. Cut your furrows, put your cloves in, cover it with a couple inches of dirt, and then again, I mulch it heavy. I'm a big believer in shredded paper, but you could use grass clippings, because that's good. Garlic is miserable to weed. In the spring, when the weeds come up, it's almost impossible if it gets overgrown with weeds. So mulch it in the fall, but do not mulch it with leaves. That's too suffocating. Leaves are too intense. You want like a loose thatching, like shredded paper or grass clip or straw.
You want something that if they come up in the wrong spot, they can still make their way through.
Exactly.
In the middle of a flat leaf isn't going to be enough.
Right. Yeah. And plus the snow and the rain and everything, it'll mat those leaves down in the wintertime, and the garlic, it can't come up. I've had a couple people that did that, and they had bad luck with it. So you don't have to mulch it. You don't have to fertilize it. None of this is mandatory. But if you fertilize it, it's going to grow better. All right, and it's going. If you plant it now, even if you plant it in October, there's a good chance you'll see little shoots. It's not a flat leaf. It's like a little tubular leaf, looks similar to an onion thing when it comes up.
Looks like a green onion.
Yes, similar to that. Yes, and you'll see that coming up through your mulch. That's fine. And let it winter over. And I have found out the colder and the more miserable the winter is, the better your garlic keeps the next year. It's almost like that makes it stronger.
Really?
Yeah. If we had a couple of winters that were very, very mild, and my garlic didn't keep well.
So garlic is not particularly delicate.
That's why, and that's why it's so many health advocates want you to eat garlic, because there's sulfides. I think that's the right word. There's things that only can develop in a plant that can
survive.
Yeah, and the ground can be frozen solid. I mean, it can be frozen solid, and what thaws out, and it'll continue to grow again. And you like say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Well, garlic is a perfect example of that. And put it out now, and it's the time. And if you haven't never done it before, you're going to be hesitant. Oh, it's going to get cold. No, it likes it being cold. There are certain things that really enjoy the cold and the ground being frozen, and if you mulch it real heavy in the fall, there's practically no work. The only thing you've got to do in the spring, May, June, somewhere around there, it's going to grow the scape on the top. We talked about that, the little baby head of garlic that grows on the top.
Yes.
You're going to want to break that off. It's a delicacy. A lot of people pay big money for it. But if you don't break the scapes off in the spring, the strength goes to the scape and not down to the head of garlic. So you put it in now, and it's like a Ron Popeil thing. Set it and forget it.
Okay.
Put it in, mulch it, fertilize it, mulch it, and forget about it until next May or June. Break the scapes off, and then 4th of July, that's my tradition. 4th of July, I dig my garlic. The papers you read, whatever it will say, when the tops begin to die, dig the garlic. No. Wait till mid-July, till the tops have really started to disintegrate. You've cut the scapes off, because I guarantee you some of those leaves will be starting to turn brown in May, in June. Okay.
And that's too early, no matter what the leaf is telling you.
Yeah, and yeah, I've read it is when the leaf starts to turn brown, dig the garlic. No, you wait till I dig mine on the 4th of July.
Charlie Dirt is with me. It's Garden Jargon. We do this once a month, and I get schooled up every time. We got about 2-3 minutes left. I do want to ask you, and I admit something. My dirt, I went and bought big bags of, your fruits and vegetables will grow good in this dirt. Mm-hmm. Dirt.
Uh-huh.
With the collard greens that didn't come in, can I just rip them out and use the same dirt? Or did the collard greens drain all the nutrients, and come spring I'm going to have to get new dirt?
No, Eddie, dirt's been here for a lot longer than you and I, and that tells me
somewhat longer.
Yeah, older than dirt. That's you and me. Okay, but you could regenerate that dirt. Yeah, and don't throw that. Don't throw that away. I do some container gardening for people. We recycle that dirt all the time. You're going to want to, if you don't want to dump the dirt out, to just take the container in where it won't freeze.
I want to spice it up.
Yeah, and
well, now wait a minute. What if it freezes? Does that kill the dirt?
Well, it doesn't kill the dirt, but if it freezes, it's going to split your containers. You know what I'm saying? It's going to expand. And
okay, it's not going to damage the dirt, but I got you.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't want to take the containers of dirt into your apartment with your cats and everything, because they might use that for something else.
Not happening.
Not happening.
No.
Okay. You could select a spot, and you could dump all those planters, dump all that dirt into one area. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then next spring.
That's where I scoop it.
Yeah, scoop it and put it back in and put. You know, if I like to use Miracle-Gro, a lot of people don't like Miracle-Gro. Add your fertilizer, Epsom salts. Use whatever nutrient your plant needs, and that's one thing where the internet is very helpful. You know, most all plants like Epsom salts. Okay, that's magnesium sulfate. Peppers especially like magnesium. Epsom salts. Cucumbers love it. Okay, remember I brought them huge cucumber. Okay, that's grown with Epsom salts and Miracle-Gro. So. You don't throw the dirt away, and if you have containers and you're doing container gardening, just dump it out somewhere where you can reclaim it, because most of those containers are some sort of plastic, you know.
Yes, they're plastic tubs.
They're plastic tubs, and they will split, and plus they'll get really, really brittle. So now what you can do, you can dump the dirt out. Now you can stack them containers, and you can bring those containers and after you clean them up and put them in a corner somewhere or a closet. Even if you dump the dirt out, you don't want to leave them set out because they'll get cold, they'll brittle, and then they'll break the next year when you go to use them.
Was there anything we didn't get to?
What do we got, a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think and we covered, and this happens every time you come by. You'll come in, and you're very well prepared, and we have 2 or 3 topics, but then you and I get to shooting the breeze about the first topic, and
there you go.
Things happen.
If that's where the interest is, that's where we go. Yep. Okay. You want to start prepping your ground in your garden for fall. I till in a lot of leaves. Anything but oak leaves. Oak leaves will sour the ground. Oak leaves have tannic acid in them.
That's the brown that stains stuff on you.
Yeah, and they tan leather with that acid. So maple leaves and those kind of things, they bring in, the leaf mold brings in night crawlers. The night crawlers put natural nitrogen in the ground. They loosen up the ground. So it's like Mother Nature's organic fertilizer. Mm-hmm. Put it in the ground. And fall is a good time for your soil test. Do we have time to give a couple phone numbers?
Quick.
Okay. 724-847-6722, soil testing at Geneva. 724-774-3003, soil testing at Penn State. So 724-847-6722 for Geneva. Carrie McMahon. Penn State is 724-774-3003. Eddie, if your collard greens were out in the garden and they didn't do well, that's where you want to scoop that soil and get it tested and see what was lacking in the ground.
I think I'm just going to grow garlic next year, and to heck with the collard greens.
Well, you start growing garlic this year.
Well, that's what I mean. And those, I'm going home, and you guys did nothing for me. I'm just snatching them out, throwing them in the yard, and mowing them.
Well, that'll work, and stop by the farmer's market and get
good garlic.
Get good garlic. If you want the elephant garlic, grow whatever you like to eat. That's what I say.
Charlie Dirt's been my guest. Garden Jargon once a month right here on Teleform. I love this show.
Me too.
Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in to Garden Jargon with Charlie Dirt, right here on Beaver County Radio. Garden Jargon is brought to you in part Beaver County Radio 95.7, 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Tune in Thursdays for your chance to win a $25 gift certificate to Copico's Pizza in New Brighton. All you'll need to do is like the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page, share the Beaver County History Trivia question post, and answer the question correctly for your chance to win a gift certificate to Copico's Pizza every Thursday. Winners will be selected the following day on Facebook only. It's Beaver County History Trivia every Thursday on WBVP and WNBA's Facebook page. Good luck!
When you talk about community involvement and safety, the name Fry stands at the forefront in Beaver County. Fry Transportation's mission is to continue to raise the bar as the gold standard in their industry by providing the safest, most reliable, and cost-efficient transportation service in Beaver County through their strong relationship